Hi guys, this is Christy coming to you from the Beehive Salon. I'm going to do a little tutorial for you guys as far as color correction goes. Today we're taking Gabby here to a nice lilac-y lavender on the roots and then to a nice silvery platinum on her ends. So I'm just going to go a little more in depth as to my steps in that, and so we're going to go ahead and cut her first and then we'll get into more of the color. Okay, so the reason I like to do cutting first is because it kind of lays the groundwork for how your color is going to lay. So like we can kind of see in through here that she's got some breakage and all of that fun stuff in there. So by eliminating that right off the bat, we're going to reduce our amount of damage that we end up having on our ends anyway, because we are going to have to lighten her a little bit more. She is nice and trimmed up now, so we're going to go ahead and start some color on her. Okay, so we have 2 scoops of lightener with 40 volume, and Olaplex will always dilute that 1 level, so I like to do a little bit less than normal. So I'm going to put 1/4 of Olaplex into our lightener. And if you're using Olaplex or if you're new to it, you always add it in after you've already mixed up your lightener or whatever color service that you're providing. And so that will take it down to a 30 volume instead of 40. So like I said, we're going to be starting more at her mid-strand area, and I usually like to start in the back because back of the head is usually the most resistant. So we're not going to be applying right at her root area because that's going to lift the quickest. So I'm going to apply probably about 1.5 inches away from the scalp and through the mid-strand, and in through the ends as well, because like I said, this is all virgin hair. There's no artificial hair color on this at all. So I'm going to apply from like I said, mid-strand to ends, and then once that is lifted a little bit more, then we'll go back through on her root area. One thing I am a stickler about is saturation of the hair. We all know that lightener stops working when it's dried out. So if you're just like haphazardly applying lightener, just like, you know, with no control and no like actual saturation to it, you're not going to get the level of lift that you want. So if anything, I like kind of like cake that lightener on the section that I need the most lift at. Alright, so we've applied some lightener to Gabby, and we're gonna let this sit about like a half an hour to 45 minutes. It's really important to let the product sit for its maximum processing time. Something that I've kind of been working on myself is I get a little impatient. So when you're just allowing the product to do what it's supposed to do and giving it time to actually work and do its thing, you know, you can't rush a color correction really. So we're just gonna let this sit for a little bit. I'm kind of going through reapplying any areas that look like they're dry, but I mean, you can see how just saturated the product is and how already, like, the amount of lift that we're getting with her, which is awesome given from where she was before. So again, leaving out any parts of her hair that really light blonde. This is not gonna need 30 volume on it. So we're just kind of leaving that out for now and just kind of picking through, seeing what needs what, and then we're just gonna let this sit for a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, this has only been about maybe about 20 minutes now. But the back here has lifted really, really, really well. So I'm gonna start with this first. I'm gonna go back in through her root area now and just kind of, like I said, reapply wherever I feel like is drying out a little bit. Also, for her root area, Olaplex does not prevent irritation of the scalp. So before I had just straight up like 40 volume. This time I kind of dialed it down just a little bit for the formulation for her root area. This is the first time I've colored her hair, so I don't really know if her scalp will react any kind of way. So I mixed a 30 and a little bit of 40 together with Olaplex. It'll make it more like a 20 and a half, 20 and like 3/4. So I'm just going through now.
It's so funny because
Anywhere that I feel like is just a little too brassy, just kind of, the sectioning isn't as clean obviously, but we don't need like as much control as we needed before, but like all of this like right in here is where that's gonna need to be just a tad bit lighter, because when we go through, especially when you're working on pastels, you want to make sure you have all those orangey tones like lifted out completely, because pastels will not work on anything less than like a pale level 9. Okay, so she pulled really beautifully right in through here and in through the front of her face as well. So we have like this really pale yellow, even some more platinum-y pieces. Just in through the back. These didn't get quite as light as I wanted them to, but it's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to go through and tone her first. This is like the one step that I've done that every time I've cut this out of my color, I have always regretted it. So if she wanted to do like hot pink or like a red or something like that, like we wouldn't even have to worry about doing this. But because she has these warmer underlying pigments and she wants to be like on the cooler spectrum of things, and we're working with pastels, I definitely want to make sure that I'm toning her first. So what I've mixed, we have a 10V and a 10T in Redken shades. I'm a super impatient person, as I mentioned earlier, so I like shades because it works super fast. And then for her ends, on the spots that, just mostly up and through the top, where it's just a little, like that one shade darker, which, like I said, it won't even be a big deal by any means. We have a 9V and a 10B mixed together. Okay, so 5 hours later, we are done with the lightening and toning process, and as you can see, she wouldn't make too bad of a platinum. We're more like into the like Elsa and not like circa 2000 Slim Shady anymore. So we've mixed up some concoctions for her color. So this is what she was wanting. But I'm kind of putting my own little twist on things. I'm kind of adding a little bit of some dimension in there. I kind of want to play around with a little bit of some pink and blue in there as well. So this is the Pravana Violet with a little bit of the number 2 from Olaplex. This is the lavender, the pastels lavender with a drop of the violet and the number 2. This is the Blissful Blue in the pastels with a drop of the Blue Topaz with number 2. And then this is the Pastel Pink with pretty good amount of just the regular Vivids Pink with number 2. This is something I'm mixing for her ends to kind of give it just like that really iridescent opal-y tone. This is like very copious amounts of number 2 and then quite a bit of lavender, and then just like a pea size, baby size of the Pravana Violet. So you kind of have to be careful about diluting. So those are kind of the mixtures that we're doing. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on her root area. This area down here at the nape, I'm kind of just thinking I want to do more of like the purpley tones. Keeping my brush with the violet fairly dry, so that way any areas that I feel are not as blended, I can just go through and feather downwards. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to take my lavender mixture and kind of do that same concept. Lavender with the number 2 and just really working that in. The benefit of using the Olaplex number 2 in your Vivids formulas as well is it's kind of doing a little bit of repairing while it's sitting. And again, just making sure to feather and blend everything in really nicely. Alright, so we have all of Gabby's color on finally, so you can kind of see all of the different tones going on in here. So there's lots of iridescent, like opaly tones, got some pinks, little mint green, little bit of blues, so just lots of fun stuff. So we kind of just put a little bit of a twist on it, but her ends are mostly like that really like opaly pearl color. So we're gonna let that sit for about 15 minutes and then we'll go ahead and style her out. So we are all done. This is the finished product of Gabby's color correction today. So you can kind of see all these like really like just beautiful pastel-y, just opaly, iridescent tones in here. So we're super excited about all of that. Got that really deep purple at the root area. We even gave her a little bit of some bangs. These are actually pretty versatile too, so we just figured out that if she wanted to wear like straight across bangs, then she can do that too, which is super cute. So yeah, super excited for how this turned out. She's like my little opal unicorn right now. I'm super pumped. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, just go ahead and comment in the comment box. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and you can also follow me on Instagram.